Okay, we've got a good framework in place for our advanced financial analysis, where we've got these grouped sections that we can easily expand and contract. What we're going to do now is create another section below, and I'm going to call it analysis. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll up to assumptions, holding select and the right arrow. I can select the entire area, Control C, and then I'm going to paste special here with Alt H, V, S, and T for formats. So I've copied the formatting down, but not the actual text from assumptions. And here what I'm going to do is create something called a common size income statement. This is often used to compare various different companies by taking everything on the income statement and dividing it by revenue. So everything is a percentage of revenue. The reason I'm calling it common size here with only one company is because we're going to compare year over year to see how the income statement evolves over time. And in order to do this, we're going to learn how to do some anchoring of cells. So let's open up all of the sections here. The first thing I'm going to do is go up to the income statement. Holding Control Shift and the down arrow, I'll select all those line items, copy them, and then I'm going to paste them down here. And I'm going to have to undo a little bit of formatting by pressing Control B. And then I'm going to press Alt H, B. And what I want to do is remove all of them. So in order to remove all of them, I press N for no border. So that was a quick way to copy that down and change the formatting just a little bit. Now what I'm going to do is set up 2014 actual. And then I'm going to be able to copy everything over from there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the revenue in 2014 divided by the revenue in 2014. And what I want to do is lock this second reference to revenue. And if I press F4, I'll see the dollar signs come up here that indicate the cell has been locked. This is locking both the row and the column. If I press F4 again, it's only locking row 4. F4 one more time, it's only locking column D, and F4 one more time, there's no locking. So in this case, I want to press it twice so that as I copy the formula down, it continues to reference row 4, but when I copy it over to the right, it moves and does not stay stuck on column D. So I'm going to press Enter. I'm going to format this Alt H P for percentage and Alt H 0 to add an extra decimal point. Then what I can do is holding down Shift and the down arrow, press Control D, and then holding Shift and the right arrow, press Control R. And I've now very quickly created this year-over-year analysis of the income statement, taking everything as a percentage of revenue. Let's try another form of anchoring together now. Let's do this analysis one more time. And before doing that though, I'm going to bold this header here, common size income statement. And I'm going to select all of the line items and paste them down below here. Now I'll change this to say percent change. And this is just an analysis where what we're going to do is in this cell here, I'm going to say that we want to look at the income statement and ask ourselves what would happen if every line item on the income statement increased by 10%. So I'm going to format that as percentage, Alt H P, and I'm going to add a decimal, Alt H 0. I'm going to change the font color, Alt H FC, and I'm going to pick the recent blue. So this is going to be our driver cell. This is one cell that we want to anchor to change all of these items here over all of these years. So in order to do this, I'm going to set this equal to, and I'm going to go up to revenue in the first year, and I'm going to multiply it by 1 plus, and then I'm going to go to cell C36 and press F4 just once so that it is anchored both in terms of the column and the row, and close bracket. The next thing that I'm going to do is adjust the formatting before I copy everything over. And I'm going to pick one of these cells here that is black for a formula, has a decimal, has a comma at the 1,000 mark, and no border. So this is sort of like a clean number, if you will. I'm going to come down here and I'm going to press Alt, H, V, S, and T for formats. Now what I can do is copy this to the right by pressing Control R, and then holding Shift and the down arrow, I can press Control D. So now what I've got is an income statement that is totally dynamic, that if I'm going to put this as 0, let's just scroll up and make sure that these numbers are the same. So net income in 2020 is $78,307,000, and it's the same number here. Just a couple spot checks. Let's also check EBITDA in 2017. So we can see that these numbers are exactly the same, and that's of course expected because there's 0 change. But what happens if everything on the income statement, if this business really increases in size and all of a sudden it's a 10% bigger business, or 50% bigger, or 100? Or what if it actually shrinks by 50%? So we've got this very dynamic setup here, and this is going to be useful later for actually doing sensitivity analysis and scenario analysis. This is sort of a warm-up, if you will, for the work we're going to do later with much more sophisticated sensitivity analysis. So it's important to know how to do this type of anchoring, and very useful for creating dynamic analysis. So the last thing I'm going to do here, just to clean this up, is now that we've got a new section here called Analysis, I'm going to hold Control Shift down and press the down arrow a couple of times to select this whole area. Then I'm going to press Shift Spacebar. I'm going to press Alt A, ZO for outline, G and G. So now I've grouped this, and if I just press 1 quickly at the top here, I can collapse all of them. So now this is nice and modular, and as we're getting bigger in terms of the amount of analysis we're doing, you can see that it's quite helpful to have these grouped.